Through political maneuvering, the Arkanians were able to set up migration treaties with the rest of the Empire. Now with alien species entering Arkanian space, the scientists under Chanthros Tarok have begun work on uncovering the greater genetic mysteries of the nearby races. Races such as the Echani, the Nautilans, and even other human races. It is with this hope that these aliens might just provide the genetic template needed to enhance the Arkanians to their perfection. It remains to be seen, however, whether the scientists will be able to unlock this potential anytime soon, as the nearby wars seem to be heating up as an alliance to restore the Republic threatens the Empire. A prime target for expansion by the Arkanian Dominion is the Old Commerce Guild. Remnants of the Confederacy, the Commerce Guild has been a shadow of its former self for some time, and was recently engaged in a war with the Tian hegemony. Weakened, they are now a prime target for the Empire and particularly the Arkanians to take over. It will allow the Arkanians to gain access to new genetic material and furthermore expand the resource production capabilities that it so sorely needs. Unfortunately, soon after war was declared on the Commerce Guild, the Mandalorians decided it was time to declare war on the Empire, to begin a new age of conquering and supremacy, and they also had allies in the form of the Mon Calamari. It was an interesting alliance, and one that would certainly make things difficult, but hopefully the Arkanians had a strong front against the Mandalorian threat because they were one of the first targets that could be set upon by the Mandalorian warriors. One of the first battles of the war with the Mandalorians took place on the edge of Seatric hegemony space. It was clear that the Mandalorian forces were superior against the Seatrix fleet. However, on the other side of Mandalorian space, Arkanians and Seatric forces planned to engage the southern parts of Mandalorian space. Unfortunately, however, by the time that they gained control of Concord Dawn, and perhaps even Mandalore, the Mandalorians may just make a significant amount of damage against the Arkanian allies.
Preparing for jump to
The space above Mandalore was one that had seen war for countless generations. And now, once again, it would see war, as the Imperial and Arkanian fleets made their way closer towards the capital. For all intents and purposes, it appeared that the capital world of the Mandalorians was relatively defenseless. A simple station was the only form of defense. The Mandalorians had overextended themselves, striking at Imperial worlds rather than defending their own lands. Now it was up to the Arkanians and the Imperials to take over Mandalore before the Mandalorian fleets could return. The Star of Mandalore would provide a measure of defense for the incoming Imperial and Arcanian fleets. It would block out their approach, allowing them to come near to the station and strike quickly. However, even with the measure of surprise, it soon became clear that the Mandalorian station would put up a bit of a fight. The Arcanian flagship, a Corellian destroyer, had served the Arcanians well for nearly a generation. Now it would be placed against its greatest test yet. At last, victory. Now for the target of Mandalore itself. A world that had seen bombardments after bombardments. And now would see one more. Ambush. The Mandalorian fleet had emerged from hyperspace behind the Arcanian Imperial forces. And now it was clear that an intense battle would take place above Mandalore. The Mandalorian Star Destroyer that led the Mandalorian fleet would be a powerful enemy to the Imperial and Arcanian forces. The Imperial forces, led by a Victory Star Destroyer, may not survive this combat. With a large explosion, the Mandalorian Star Destroyer goes down, though. It may just be that the Imperials and Arcanians may find victory in this battle. Both the Arcanian and Imperial flagships work together, destroying the Mandalorian forces and ensuring victory. Now it was time to begin work on Mandalore itself. The second siege of Mandalore, within a matter of years, had begun. Meanwhile, in the Tespin system, a Doran fleet engages with the Mon Calamari as they attempt to move into Arcanian space. The Dorans lack any superior ships, but they do have numbers, and they may just be able to defeat the Mon Calamari. The Mon Calamari capital ship flees, ultimately knowing that it could not survive against the onslaught of the Doran. The Doran ships then move to secure the rest of Arkanian space, as the Arkanian and Imperial forces continue working on Mandalore. As the war with the Mandalorians and the Commerce Guild comes to an end, the Arkanians come across an ancient station known as Hammer Station, built into an asteroid. Capable of flinging asteroids against planets, this ancient weapon of war may in fact prove quite useful for the Arkanians, not just against foreign enemies, but also against the Empire. For one thing that Chantheros Tarok is quite clear on, Emperor Palpatine is not willing to share power, and in time, he will come after the Arkanians themselves. This may give them an edge, or at least something in their arsenal, to protect themselves against the Empire. When they will use it is unsure, but certainly it will come in handy.